It's by my Spirit. I can tell when it's my work, and I can tell when it's God's work. And you should be able to tell too. It's very easy to see. Verse 31, he says, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Now look at what it says. It says, they shall mount up with wings as eagles. Now what that is referring to is the molting of the feathers of the eagle. An eagle lives to a ripe old age. And as they molt, they grow new feathers. And that gives them new strength. Just like when they were young. And they can go again. And as we go through our Christian life, if we lean upon the strength of the Lord, we spiritually molt. He gives us the feathers, new feathers to fly again. Flying is more difficult than running. I've often wondered what it would be like to be a bird and have your arms out and just, I mean, it's nice to see in coasting, but most of it's this, okay? And you see that, we see a lot of the Canadian geese, and they're moving, and if you think of the hundreds and thousands of miles that they fly south, that's quite a task. So there are 3 levels that he's speaking of here of going for God. Flying, running, and walking. He says if we wait on the Lord, that He can give us an ability to fly like an eagle. He can refresh our feathers. He can refresh us spiritually to the place where we can rise to heights that we had not been able to do for a while. Secondly, he says they shall run and not be weary. Interesting. Running is I used to run. Again, used to run. I like watching running now. 54 now, in case you wanted to know, okay? And I don't have any interest in doing triathlons. I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm not looking to run a marathon. I didn't like running even a mile when I was in high school. I like the sprints. 10 seconds, 20 plus seconds, maybe 60 seconds, which was the 440. And then I ran half mile, so it was about a minute, a little over 60 seconds. My best time was 2:14 in a headwind, so about almost 2 minutes in high school. After 2 minutes, then you can walk off the track. I didn't want to run for hours, but spiritually we can if we have God's strength. We can go a long time. But when we lose that strength, when we are feeling ourselves running out of gas, then we need to stop and look to God. We need a good shot in the arm. They shall mount up with wings, the Bible says, as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. And they shall walk and not faint. Even an even steady pace walking takes a lot of exertion and takes a lot out of you. The Christian life is referred to predominantly as a walk. Enoch walked with God. We walk by faith and not by sight. We don't fly a lot. We don't run a lot. Paul talked about running a race. I therefore so run, so fight I, not as one that beateth the air. But the Christian life more so is a walk. It's wonderful when you are busy serving the Lord, and when you're done with what you're doing, you don't feel spiritually tired. You feel like you can go some more. Part of it is because you are waiting on the Lord. Now, can I share this with you? And I want you to listen to this very carefully. God has given us a place to get charged. That's right here. People have no idea the importance and value of church today. Good people. It is the organization that God has chosen for us to come and to get that charge in the arm. And it's weekly. And it's not just a service. It's, as the Bible tells us, I know I'm preaching to the choir tonight. But you, as those who are Sunday night crowd, can encourage and talk to others who don't see the value of Sunday night. I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to get through a week unless I'm here Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. I need it as much as you do. Because I need to be around encouragement. I need to be with God's people. I enjoy the song service. I enjoy preaching, but I enjoy the song service. I enjoy interacting, talking to one another. I enjoy going out with others and knocking doors and sharing the gospel and working and serving together. I enjoy this week. It's going to be, now look, this didn't just happen. Those of you who were here at the beginning of the week, and then you came in this morning and like, wow, this took hours, days. And you know what? After this is over on Friday, this comes down really fast. Because we're not saving anything, including the bugs. Everything is going right out there into the dumpsters, okay? And because every year, you know, we do it again. We have a different theme and we enjoy it. But you know, it's tedious, but it's worth it. And so how can you make things like this be something that you look forward to? And not become mundane and not, vacation Bible school again. I just know He's going to ask us to be up here all week. Can't they just, can't somebody else do it? Okay? The fact is it is a privilege to serve God. Amen. It should never be a drudgery to serve God. The busier you are for God, not for you, but for God, with His strength, the more you understand how much you can do, even more so than you're already doing. I don't look at the Christian life, and never have, as a drudgery. Do I get tired? Absolutely. Last night with 3 Advil, after, I didn't do a lot of this, but I was up on the roof. Shiley and Abhishek were over there, and they were wondering, what? Shiley was wondering, what's up on top of the roof? It was me, blowing it off. You know how I'm OCD? And it had been a long time. The gutters needed to be blown out, everything. The edging, the trimming. All that has to be done. And it's going to get done. And I enjoyed doing it. It's diversion. But when I got home, I was sore. Linda said, she said, I just need a veg. So we just sat like this. And if you sit like this in a seat for any length of time, and then you try to get up, 54. I felt older than 54 last night. But 3 good Advil took care of it physically. You need a whole lot more stronger pill than that spiritually. Advil isn't going to do the task. The Lord does. You know, when I got here this morning, I didn't feel like I'd done anything. I feel great. Because we have the privilege as God's people, every service, to come and be charged, to get our battery reloaded to go again and go again and go again. God knew that. The Christian life, to some, is inconvenient. My wife and I, we were talking about it, how often people let things get in the way of doing church. Do you know what it would have been like to be a Jew? You ladies that cook, every week. Do you realize that the Jewish ladies had to cook 2 days' meals before the Lord's Day, before the Sabbath? Every week, every month, every year, every decade. If they could live a century, every century, there was no break, because the Sabbath was holy and they were to keep it. And God made that an instant. That was something that they constantly had before them. It was a day of worship, and they didn't look at it as a drudgery. Oh, maybe some did. But if God did that with the children of Israel, you don't think that we ought to be as dedicated in the New Testament? Do you understand that Jesus expanded on the Old Testament? That a lot of the things that the Jews did were required, they were the Jewish law, and that some of the things, if they didn't do them, they could be cut off? But the New Testament expands upon that. Jesus says, do it because of your love for me. Except your righteousness exceed the righteousness of the Pharisees. So, we should be exceeding, not receding, declining in our service for Him. And the only way to do that is to rest in the strength of the Lord. Now, I don't know how, I haven't tracked this. I don't know. But it's somebody's thrown out the statistic that 20% of all the ministry that is in a local church is done, or 80% of all that's done in the ministry is done by about 20% of the people. And I'll tell you why that is. The sad thing is it's probably because 20% of the people are the only ones that maintain their spiritual life. And that's why they see the blessing of the Lord. That's why they keep going. That's why they keep doing. And why they don't get weary. Why it never gets old. And why they understand that be not weary in well-doing, for in due season ye shall reap if ye faint not. They believe the promises of the Lord. They believe what God says. And they understand that when it's all over, there is a reward, but they're not just doing it for that. They're doing it because they love Christ and because they have a relationship and they know the strength that He infuses in them on a continuous basis. If it weren't for that, we'd all quit. None of us would be here. Because we wouldn't be able to physically stand it. That's why there's so much fallout today. People do not want that much energy and time invested in the things of the Lord. And they've never learned His strength. My son sings a song, His Strength is Perfect. It's a wonderful song. His strength is perfect. His strength is powerful. We began a study today. Doug's class is going to start it next week, and that study has a lesson that relates to a man whose name is Caleb. And the title of the lesson is Life Begins at 85. I love that. I'm hoping to get to 85 if God tarries. And most of us will be lucky if we get to 85. But at 85, Caleb said, I want that mountain. And he made the statement he felt like he was as strong now at 85 as he was when he was young. You know why? Because it wasn't his strength.